Ray Doyle heard it before the car reached his bay. A soft knock, low and steady, like a knuckle on wood. He had heard that exact sound the week before. Different car, different owner, same knock. The woman driving handed him her keys and asked if it was serious. Ray said he would take a look. He already knew the computer would tell him nothing. Ray Doyle grew up under cars. His father's shop had a gravel lot and a coffee can full of bolts. Ray learned to listen before he learned to read a manual. By the time his hair went gray, he was the senior tech at a dealership on the edge of town. People asked for him by name. As far as Ray was concerned, that was the entire job. A man brings in the car his wife drives. A woman brings in the car her kids ride in. That car does not leave the bay unless Ray would put his own family in it. He had a rule about it. He had never broken it. He liked this engine. Everybody did. It was small, common, cheap to fix, and it sat in most of the cars on his lot. He had recommended it to his neighbors. He had put his own sister in one. When customers asked him, he told them the truth as he knew it. It was a good engine. Then the cars started coming back. Not many. Not enough for anyone to notice, unless noticing was the whole job. Same model. Same knock. Owners who had never met each other, and every one of them had changed the oil on schedule. Ray checked the records twice. The paperwork was clean. That was the part that bothered him. The first thing he found was in the drain pan. He pulled the plug and let the oil come out hot. It looked ordinary. Black, thin, tired. Then he tilted the pan under the work light. The oil shimmered. Not the way oil shimmers. Something else was moving in it. Bright flecks, turning slowly in the black, like someone had stirred glitter into it. He dipped a finger and rubbed it against his thumb. Grit, fine as sugar, silver as a mirror. He held a magnet over the pan and the flecks jumped up to meet it. Metal. The engine was grinding itself into powder and the powder was going back around with the oil. He plugged in the machine. It found nothing wrong, so he called the technical line and described what he was holding. The voice on the line told him the wear was normal for this engine. No bulletin, no recall. Warranty it and move on. Ray asked the only question that mattered. If it was normal, why was it in his hand? Nobody called him back. The second thing he found was in the tow yard behind the building. Same model. Sitting crooked in the mud, hood up, hauled in overnight. The driver said the engine went quiet all at once. On the interstate, no power, no steering, headlights coming up fast behind her. Ray lifted the hood. Under the insulation there was a scorch mark, brown and feathered at the edges. Oil had found the exhaust and cooked. Below that, in the side of the block, a hole. Something inside the engine had come out through the wall. Ray stood there in the cold with his hand on the fender. The knock was not a noise problem. The knock was a countdown, and he had heard it that morning, in a car with a booster seat in the back. They kept this file closed for years. Subscribe, there are more of them. The third thing Ray found was nothing at all. That was the problem. He put a gauge on a knocking engine and watched the oil pressure. Normal at idle, normal at speed. He watched the dash. The oil light stayed dark. He pulled the fault codes. There were no fault codes. By every measurement the car was able to take of itself. The car was healthy. He drove one until it let go on the ramp. The warning light came on after the noise stopped. After it was already over, then the repaired ones started coming back. New engine, same parts, same knock. Ray understood something he did not want to understand. The car could not warn anybody. The only warning system was a man in a bay with the door open listening, and nobody above him was listening to the man in the bay. Her name was Dana Reyes. Hers was the car from that morning, the one with the booster seat. Ray had put a new engine in it and signed the work order himself. It was raining the night it happened. She was on the interstate with her son asleep behind her. The knock came back somewhere past the airport exit. Then it turned into a hammer. Then it stopped. The wheel went heavy in her hands. The dashboard lit up all at once. Too late to mean anything. She got the car onto the shoulder with the last of the speed she had. Rain on hot metal sounds like frying. Then the smell. Sweet first, then sharp. Then a soft orange light moving under the hood. She got her son out and carried him up the embankment in her socks. She was still holding the booster seat when the fire reached the paint. Ray got the call the next morning. He recognized his own handwriting on the work order. The reason was never in Ray's bay. It was decided on a factory floor years earlier. The crankshaft is the spine of an engine. Drilled through it are narrow passages that carry oil out to the bearings. Bearings are soft. They never touch steel. They ride on a film of oil thinner than a hair. Drilling those passages leaves burrs and shavings behind. There is a cleaning step whose only job is to flush them out. At one engine plant, that step did not do its job. Debris stayed inside the crankshaft. In some engines, it settled where the oil turns toward a connecting rod bearing. It did not block the passage. It narrowed it. That was enough to starve a single bearing. The bearing runs dry across a patch smaller than a fingernail. It wears. The gap opens. The rod stops riding and starts hammering. That hammer was the knock Ray heard across the shop. The soft metal it shed was the glitter in his drain pan, and the gauge read normal the whole time because the pump was fine. The pressure was fine everywhere except the last inch that mattered. The computer had nothing to report because nothing in the car was watching that inch. Then the rod breaks. It comes out through the side of the block. Oil sprays onto an exhaust running near red. That is the scorch mark. That is the fire on the shoulder of the interstate. Every symptom Ray found came out of the same dirty hole. It was drilled years before Dana Reyes ever bought that car. The recall came, then a wider one, then another. Federal regulators opened investigations, then opened investigations into the recalls themselves. There was a consent order, a penalty, and a monitor installed to watch the company work, class actions, extended warranties, and a software update that teaches the car to listen for the knock and shut itself down. The remedy was a microphone for the sound of an engine dying, but the flaw was never the real failure. An engineer inside the company had already carried the defect to regulators in Korea and in the United States. His name was Kim Gwang-ho. The company fired him and reported him to prosecutors. Years later, the American agency he had warned paid him a whistleblower award. This was not a mystery that finally got solved. It was a memo that got ignored. Ray still works the same bay. There is a magnet in the top drawer of his toolbox with silver fuzz on it, fine as sugar. He does not show it to customers.